There have been rumblings of a Final Fantasy X-3 for quite some time now, and these fires were stoked 2 years ago when we learned about the exact contents of what would be releasing alongside Final Fantasy X-2 HD Remaster. Anyway, at the time, not only did we get a wonderful audio drama, which was called Final Fantasy X Will, there was also a novel that was titled Final Fantasy X-2.5 Price of Eternity. Yep, they really did call it 2.5. Chronologically, the Final Fantasy X experience so far is Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X Eternal Calm, Final Fantasy X-2, Final Fantasy X-2 Last Mission, Final Fantasy X 2.5 Price of Eternity, and Final Fantasy X Will. That's a lot of Final Fantasy X, and if you haven't kept up with all of this, the TLDR is that Tidus is now back full-time. Yep, no more of that fading away into the ether nonsense. He's also now kind of immortal. I mean, at one point in the novel, he even gets his damn head blown off. But fortunately, Yuna is around to bring him back to life. The issue is that he's kind of getting tired of, being a zombie. And Yuna, despite reviving him a lot, is kind of getting tired of him, so has asked for a separation. Oh, and Auron might have a daughter. Not sure how that happened. Oh yeah, and the small point that Sin is back. Yeah, I'm not making this up. The fan fiction is real. The scary thing is that it was all penned by the guy we all have the narrative hard-on for, Nojima-san. But my theory is that this all points to Sakaguchi's logic, which we all learn about via the wonderful Mega 64. If you aren't familiar, the theory is, make progressively more crazy stories so that people don't want it anymore. Except what actually happens is that people really do want it more. A lot more. Well, that's what has happened after the audio drama and novel, and Nojima even went on to say the classic Square Enix one-liner, "We'll look into it if there's demand." And as we noticed in another video, whenever Square Enix says if there's demand, there's a high chance that it will come to fruition. Which leads me on to my actual point of this video. Square Enix has essentially said that Final Fantasy X-3 is on their to-do list. Speaking at Luca Comics and Games 2016, Shinji Hashimoto, who aside from being one of the biggest trolls in history is actually one of the nicest people I've ever met, said that the Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD Remaster sold very well, and that following the release of the audio drama, there has been an expectation surrounding Final Fantasy X-3. I'd say that I've fueled that too, because although the audio drama was pretty much teenager fanfiction that puts it on par with the Twilight franchise, I really want to know what the hell is going on. I mean, why is Sin back? And is Choami really Auron's daughter? Full disclosure, I'm a girl and I did read Twilight, so I have a solid point of reference. Either way, I don't think I'm alone in saying that I was actually very content with the ending of Final Fantasy X. It resolved itself for me, like every Final Fantasy game up to that point had done. When I heard rumblings about Final Fantasy X-2, I wasn't overly enthused, mainly because it was just an unknown concept. Never before had anything like this even been comprehended. But after seeing Shuyin for the first time, my inner thirst for answers just made me want that game. And now they've gone and done it again with Final Fantasy X Will. I need to know what's happened and why it's happened. The good thing is that with so much other stuff going on right now, Hashimoto-san did stop short of actually announcing the game. Instead, he said that fans would have to wait a little longer for any news on Final Fantasy X-3. The reason? Well, it's actually quite responsible. Nomura and Kitase are both pretty busy right now, and he feels it wouldn't be wise for them to be working on Kingdom Hearts 3, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Final Fantasy X-3 all at the same time. So, how do you guys feel about this? Personally, I'd be pretty stoked. I know some of the recent sequels haven't been met with a great deal of positivity, but I feel that they would do Final Fantasy X-3 justice. I mean, Hashimoto even noted that he still sees a lot of Tidus and Yuna cosplayers, and that their story is something that he and his staff would like to continue. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. Until next time, this is Lauren signing out.